I've had 0 clients and I had to get 10 paying coaching clients using nothing but Instagram DMs. Here's exactly what I would do, step by step, starting today. At DM Tracker, we work with hundreds and hundreds of Instagram sellers, and the patterns are clear. The coaches closing clients consistently are not doing anything complicated. All they have is system. And today in this video, I'm going to show you exactly that system. Now, just a fair warning, this system doesn't exactly involve any paid ads, no cold DM spam, no following or huge following required. You don't necessarily need to have tons and tons of millions of followers to be able to replicate the system. This is just a repeatable process that works whether you have 500 or 5,000 followers or 500,000 followers. Your profile is your landing page. I think I need to repeat this a little bit more often. If someone checks it after your DM and is still unclear about what you do, trust me, you've lost them. I see a lot of people every single day think that the biggest problem of sales, of them getting customers, of them getting sales is primarily in maybe their message or maybe something else. But at the end of the day, I do check their profiles and see it's a basic profile optimization thing. The beginning of this entire thing should start with your profile. Have a quick look at your profile and follow these checks and see if it's good. The next thing is your bio. Your bio needs to answer 3 major questions in under 3 seconds. Obviously not 3 seconds, but you understand what I mean. One is who you help. Two is what result it gets them. Three is how to take the next step. I'm going to put an example of a bad bio as well as an example of a good bio on the screen, so you can as well have a look at it and see the differences. An example of the bad bio would be life lover, mindset coach, DME. It's very simple, very generic. Anyone can have that in their bio. Yes, you do know they're a mindset coach, but it doesn't give any exact detail as to how they will exactly help you as the receiving customer. On the other hand, a good bio would be I help busy professionals lose 20 pounds in 90 days without restrictive diet, and DM starts for a free assessment. Why that works is because you've qualified your exact target audience, your exact ICP. You've told them their weight class, you told them who they are, which is busy professionals. You've actually defined the very core measures every person that's intending to lose weight is looking forward to, looking after. Your last night post should basically make it obvious what you sell. If I go through your recent post and I'm not still able to identify what you sell in the very last night post, then trust me, I'm going to be out of there. So this isn't the profile optimization video, so I'm not going to go really deep into this. But make sure you actually go through this 3 seconds quick test, and if your profile doesn't pass this test, then nothing else in this video is going to matter to you. Most coaches DM people or wait for inbound. Neither works at the start, especially when you're starting a business or starting your company. You need to find people who already have the problem you want to solve or you already solve. And where do you find those people? I'm going to give you a couple of places to find those people. First is competitive research. And how do you do that? You do that through your competitor followers. So find 3 to 5 coaches in your niche. Your followers are your prospects. And when I say your followers are your prospect, I don't necessarily mean to poach. Don't go around poaching people, okay? It's not that good. But at the end of the day, business is a competitive game, and people would usually always go for a better value offering. It's just the way it is, and that's the way it's always been. People like quality, people like better value, and they would go for it once they see it in you or in someone else. And why is this the perfect pick? Because these people are already interested in your topic. Second way would be hashtag research. So what I would like you to do would be to search for hashtags your ideal clients would want to use. So I mentioned your ideal clients. I didn't mention industry hashtags. For example, industry hashtags would be maybe fitness or hashtag fitness or something like that. An ideal client, okay, someone that is starting from the ground up, that knows nothing about fitness, would hardly post that or use that as an hashtag in any of their posts. So instead, an ideal client might use the word or the hashtag weight loss journey. So this is an exact example of the kind of hashtags to be searching for while looking for your target audience. Number 3 is engagement signals. So people who usually are active, not just following certain accounts or following certain pages, but also actively commenting, actively engaging in one way or the other on this set post are exactly the kind of people you want to be targeting, because it shows that these people are actually ready, and maybe they might drop a comment like, oh yeah, I've seen this, I've always wanted to try this, and stuff like that. This shows exactly that these are very warm leads. They're not just cold leads, but they are very warm leads, and they are very susceptible to change. They are willing to accept the change when you are presenting an offer. This is exactly the kind of people to be reaching out to. People who have already made that mental decision are much more susceptible and much more easier to talk to. I won't say easier to convince, but much more easier to talk to and sell to. So your daily target should be around 10 to 20 genuine conversations every single day. Most people would ideally go for the insane amount of like 100 DMs or 200 DMs a day, but I think that's absurd, and I would like you to start fresh and start simple. So aim for 10 to 20 very genuine and authentic conversations, and so build a rapport slowly until you're able to have a system to scale it fully. Your first DM determines every single thing. Most coaches would blow it by trying to sell or trying to like pitch immediately in the first DM. And as much as that saves everyone's time, as much as that sounds like a great option, it definitely is not a great option. Here's what to do instead. But before we go right into what to do, this is an example of what some people would use as the first DM message. And this gets ignored because it's about you and not them. So here is what to send instead. We're going to use a 3-line principle, okay? And this principle is very simple and very straightforward. Line 1 is context. Why you're messaging them specifically. People like to feel adored, people like to feel cherished, people like to feel like you're the only person this message is going to, or they are the only person this message is going to. When they realize that this is a general message being sent to everyone, then it's less authentic, less genuine, less specific because you've zeroed out that option. Line 2 should be observation. So this is something you noticed about their current situation or their past situation, or something you eventually think they're going to um stumble across because of their current path. Line 3 should be question. So basically there should be a question that gets them to talk. This is why I explain to everyone, when having conversations with prospects, you always want them to talk. That is the only way. So here's an example of the DM to send. You can say it checks all of the lines from the context to the observation and finally a question, which seals the deal and gets them into proper conversation with you. I'm not expecting the first DM to immediately sell. I'm not expecting the first DM to immediately tell them all of what I pitch or all of what I'm about to offer them in terms of a service or my offering, but it basically initiates the conversation, it gets the ball rolling, and this is exactly what you want to do. And why does this work? The reason why this works is because you reference something specifically that relates exactly to them. You didn't just mention a broad problem that you know everyone in this niche encounters, but you mentioned something specifically to them, which showed you actually looked at their profile and you took time to actually understand their problem. And also it naturally just eases out and opens up a conversation, and a very easy conversation. So you start the conversation on an easy ground, which gives them enough confidence and also lets them put down their guard a bit and not be expecting a solid pitch or solid sales pitch from you as well. The first message starts the conversation. Now you need to move them from chatting to interested, and from interested to booked, or whatever your call to action at the end should be. And for this, I'm going to introduce a very simple and very straightforward conversation flow. This is a 4-stage conversation flow that I think would be essential for you. Number 1 is connect, and this should be between messages 1 to 3. Now, before I proceed with this should not always be the case. For example, you might see me mention messages 1 to 3, messages 5 to 8, messages 8 to 12, and so on and so forth. It should not always be the case. There are some situations where the message directions or messages dynamic will change, so you should not always initiate more conversations when there is no need for you to initiate more conversations, and also you should not always undermine conversations when there's no need for you to undermine. Now back to the conversation flow. 1 is connect. So yeah, this is where you build rapport, you allow them talk. They are the one doing all of the talking, as I said. You allow them talk and you ask about their situation. Your only job in this very stage is to understand the problem. You don't just want to assume. This is the problem with a lot of sellers, coaches as well. A lot of coaches assume that the problem is this or the problem is Y, when exactly the problem is Z. Number 2 is qualify. So this is usually like messages 4 to 5, and this is exactly where you ask them 1 or 2 questions to see if they're exactly a good fit for you. So questions like, how long have you been dealing with this? Have you worked with anyone else on this before? This exactly allows you to see if they are a good fit and exactly to see if they are very ready, like right now. You don't want people that would start in like 1 to 2 months. That is a very long time. So you want to basically identify and qualify if they're a very good fit for you, and also if they're very serious. Number three is bridge. So this is like message six or thereabouts, and this is where you share a relevant case study or relevant testimonial that slightly relates to their current situation. Don't just share a generic situation, share something that is very, very close to their current situation and the expected outcome or the expected transformation that happened during that run. And you want to do this most especially without pitching. Okay, don't tell them okay, when you buy my course or when you buy this or when you start my program or whenever this happens or that happens, it's not a no-go. What you should do instead is basically put them in an imaginative state. So basically something like, one of my clients was in a really similar spot. She had 2 kids. She was very busy with work, but she was able to drop around 15 pounds in 2 weeks. And this was very different from what she had tried before with other coaches or other clients. So that positions you as a different approach, basically. And that's what people like to see. People like to try new things, especially. Tells them that, okay, this is not exactly what I've tried before. This is something new and this is something much more results driven. So number four is invite. This is the very last stage of the framework, the message framework, the first stage message framework. And this is where you invite them basically into your offer. So you're not trying to pitch your offer, rather you're inviting them into your offer. And this would be something like, would it help if I showed you how she was able to do this? I can show you in a quick 15 minutes call, or I can show you through a quick 15 minutes call. So frame it as you helping them and basically not them giving you their time, because everyone believes their time is precious and is of quality. If you basically turn it around and you make it seem like, not make it just seem, actually show that you're actually keen to open them, and becomes a bit more reasonable to them. Most conversations die because the coach or because the seller doesn't follow up quite enough, not because the lead is not interested. From tracking thousands of DMs, a DM tracker, we've understood that 51% of deals closed happens after the fifth touch point and not the first or the second or the third touch point. And that is where the problem lies. Most sellers stop at the first touch point, and the problem is that the gap exactly you're trying to fill is exactly there. This is where the problem lies. That gap is exactly where your clients are hiding. So I'm going to attach, I don't know, somewhere on the screen, some follow-up rules for you to follow so you understand exactly the cadence to use while following up with your prospects or your leads. But most importantly, you need to have a system to track who you've messaged, who you followed up with, who replied, and who to follow up with next. Whether that's like a simple bot, an amazing tool that does it efficiently without you having to stress, like DM Tracker, even a notebook. The core and the key to this is that do not rely on memory, because memory would fail. Your memory is not always very substantial to like depend on for this kind of things. Your memory will lose you clients. So let's actually do some quick maths here, and let me show you exactly the maths that gets you to 10 clients. So right here, if you have 15 new conversations per day for 5 days, you could have 75 conversations every single week. And that means out of that 75 conversations per week, if you get 30% reply rates, you'll have 22 active conversations, which I think is genuinely good. This is not exactly a great amount yet because you're just starting and you don't necessarily have a system. And 30% reply rates out of 75 conversations per week would give you around 22 active conversations. I genuinely think 22 active conversations is good, especially with a lot of people just dropping mid conversation, and it's expected. Okay, don't expect every single one you message to give you a reply. Don't expect every single one you message to be able to attend to you right immediately. Some people might respond 5 days later, some people might respond 7 days later. It's normal, it's usual, we all have a life. Okay, and let's assume out of these 22 active conversations, 25 of those people book a call. 25% rather of those people book a call. That means you have around 5 to 6 calls per week, which is still good. Okay, these are all still great numbers. All right, and let's say 5 to 6 calls per week, you have a 50% close rate on calls. You are exceptionally good. You're a sales expert. You are like Seda BC, you're like Iman Gatsi, you're like one of the top sales experts. that gives you 2 to 3 new clients per week. And let's assume these clients are maybe, let's say, $1,500, or let's say that is too low. Okay, let's say $5,000 to $10,000 upwards. Let's use a minimum of $5,000 per client. That would be around, let me say, 15K per week already. And I think that is good. That is sufficient just to start things from the ground and start things slowly. In 3 to 4 weeks, you would have ideally around 10 clients you're coaching, which is exceptionally good. And that would still bring you to a minimum of around $50,000 already, which is a good amount to start things from. I know this amount might sound unrealistic to some people because they're like, yo, we've not even had $1,000 come in yet. We've not even had $2,000 come in yet from um all of the days of outreach, all of the days of sending people DMs, all of the days of the conversations we've had. But I believe and I'm very confident that if you use this system that I just laid and I just explained in this video, as well as a proper follow-up system, and you're tracking it efficiently with a tool like DM Tracker, it's going to be exceptional. And I'm saying this based off of what I've heard from other people who have used tools like DM Tracker. We've had people use DM Tracker that changed their whole game. They got a lot more conversations to follow up with. They were able to get higher reply rates, higher conversion rates, and able to also get more clients from that, more booked calls from that. This is an exceptional tool you should check out. So these aren't fantasy numbers. These are very conservative and very realistic numbers. As I said, with time, the more you do this, maybe you've done this like 2 to 3 times, you then start to get some referrals, you then start to get some inbounds. You don't necessarily fully rely on just the system alone. You'd have this system plus inbound, that is referral, people talking about you to other people, and that creates like a long chain of incoming referrals and incoming customers for you. The first 10 people are the hardest. Every business knows that. After that, the system sort of feeds itself and creates like a snowball effect and brings you more and more and more customers. But as I said, whether that is inbound DMs or referrals from other people. So now we've come to the end of this video. A recap of everything we talked about. First, fix your profile. Your profile is the most important thing. Most people do not pay attention, and they pay attention to their message framework or this or that or this. If your profile is not solid, if it's not good for people to actually look at and understand what it is you're trying to offer them, then that is where the problem lies. So make sure you fix your profile, find the right people, send a message about them, not you. Have a real conversation, not scripted. For people that have scripts are good for guidance purposes, not necessarily following it word for word. Because when you follow it word for word, it loses its touch, and then you have people conflicting with what exactly you're trying to pass as your message. On top of that, make sure you follow up consistently, have a system, track every single follow-up so you're able to know exactly when to follow up with a particular person, when a particular person is due for follow-up, and when you should reach out to that said person. So if you want to see your DM pipeline in one place instead of digging through your messy inbox and the long list of inbox, you can actually try out DM Tracker for free. I would link it down below. You can try it out for free for 14 days, get a good taste of how it looks, and how it actually complements your entire system. Trust me, it's a game changer. If there's nothing you take out from this video, take this part. Very important. You need a follow-up system to tell you exactly when to follow up with particular people, because that is exactly the times that they might need you to follow up with them. As I said, make sure you use all of the steps, all of the principles, all of the guidelines I mentioned in this video. Trust me, if you do most of this, you would close more clients this month than the last. And I would love for you to comment if you're going to try it out, or if you've tried it out, maybe you tried it out and it's worked, you can as well comment down below. And yeah, see you in the next video. Ciao.